Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live, brought to you by Bet365. Bet $5, get 150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code Leading Off. It is me, Joey P. That's the Welsh, the Peanuts, the Cracker Jacks. Everybody's here, and I know what you're thinking, folks. I know what you're thinking. Today's going to be a day where, I was going to have a little tinfoil scythe and a little bit of a black hood, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to let things play out when it comes to Gerrit Cole. But certainly, Welsh, it's easy to say that last night's performance against the New York Mets wasn't great. However, against the Mets in 8 career starts, he has a 6.64 ERA. I don't know why the Mets own Gerrit Cole, but apparently they do. That's his worst ERA against any team. It was not a great performance. Velocity was down, somewhere around 91, 93. In that range at times. That's when some of the home runs that were hit yesterday. And Gerrit Cole said afterwards that, well, he dialed back the velocity a little bit because, things weren't going well and he was trying to blah, 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 blah. So what do you think about Gerrit Cole's performance last night against the New York Mets?
Yeah, it wasn't quite like, I didn't think you were going to Grim Reaper it, but I definitely, which you are definitely implying, a little bit of "I told you so" is what I think everybody.
I never said that. You said that. I didn't say those.
Okay. I said it.
I
It was
didn't.
my
I
idea.
never said that. I didn't say
Not Joe's idea. By the way, yes, he said he dialed it back, but it wasn't because of like Tasmanian Devil. It was because he said his command was wavering, so he dialed back the velo so he could get into that command a little bit more. Wasn't great. It didn't work out real great. I will say this: even in the overall velo dip that he had in the latter innings, where I think it was like the 3rd or 4th inning, fastball even went around like 91 as he dialed it. His fastball velo overall was still up. So that's kind of a surpriser there. But he got absolutely no whiffs whatsoever. Mets can be kind of a tough strikeout team. There's a few of those guys out there that live in that like sub 20% range. He had a 15% whiff rate in it. His fastball and cutter were doing nothing. And you can see his slider didn't hit the zone, 14% zone rate. Everything else was around 40%. I think that's just a little bit lower than like his overall space. So to this spot that we're in right now, is Joe's "you should sell off" correct? At this point, it would look like so. Is the velo something to be concerned about? It's something to monitor for sure, because if this continues, he's going to have a hard time having success overall. And you could question the second start back already having some weird results, weird velo dip stuff. If that plays out, then Joe, you will get a massive "I told you so" situation of like, hey, his peak already happened. I think it's all good. I'm still solid with Gerrit Cole. There's a lot of adjustment. I think Aaron Judge may have said it as well, that this is his spring training. These guys that miss this type of time, that are adjusting and finding themselves in baseball. He's playing against a team that he struggles with. It's kind of the spring training. I'm a buy with Gerrit Cole, regardless of some of the worries right now. I will not relent.
An interesting time to buy after. Well, look, it's not "I told you so." I warned you. I see. The thing is,
that's worse.
This is a public service announcement. This is a fantasy baseball wagering, baseball entertainment program, and we're here to have fun. We're here to talk baseball, and we're here to help people as much as we can.
Oh my God.
I believe, and I still hold that belief, that this is too dangerous of a game to be playing in your season-long fantasy leagues. If this is a keeper league, like you're already tied in. It doesn't matter. No strikeouts yesterday is not what you want to see. Yes, it could feel like spring training. Sure. I watched the start yesterday, and I think anybody who watched him didn't see a confident, or I would say commanding Gerrit Cole. He did not look like somebody who was leaving balls all over the zone. And yes, that happens in spring training to guys. Sure. So that's why I'm not the Grim Reaper today. That's why I'm not wearing the cape. And that's why I don't have my scythe yet. And I don't want to have to adorn those things. But it was not an encouraging start for Gerrit Cole yesterday. It was not the Gerrit Cole that I think you're looking for. Now, to your point, if you're on the Welsh's side and you think that I'm wrong, then you absolutely have the window of all windows to buy low for the rest of the season. This is it. This is rock bottom. pre-injury rock bottom. That's the subterranean, like it's already over. But I agree with you, Welsh. This is the time where, yeah, this is when you can buy low on Gerrit Cole.
Yeah, and
inclined.
I'd be comfortable. I'd like him to be less sweaty. He seems like he's in the Brandon Fott school of sweat, but it is summer. But also, I've put a poll up, not to jokes aside, of course. We want to talk about serious things, but I put a poll up. What is worse? I told you so, or I warned you? And I have to know because I warned
you're
you.
a dad. You remember that story you told me about your daughter going out and not wearing shoes outside, and then she hurt herself and she almost didn't make her dance meet? Isn't
true.
That sounds like a very dad thing to do? You're a dad. I'm a dad. The Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks are kind of like our children. Hopefully we don't have to pay for college for any of them. Jeez. But Wonky Penguin is in a right mood today. She's killing it in this chat right now, I gotta say. But look,
Gerrit Cole or Kyle Hendricks, Wonky, get out of here. I'm a buy on Gerrit Cole. I think this is a blip. The Mets, like I said, can be a tough team. He was completely off. Yes, though, this could be the warning sign, and that's what you have to know. So if you don't have the stomach for it,
2 starts in a row where the velocity wasn't good, dialed back or not, his command wasn't good. His confidence wasn't good on the mound. His demeanor wasn't good. And I know you're getting your ass kicked. That's fair. Like, you're not going to be having a good time. But that's not Cy Young Gerrit Cole that I know. That's not the guy that I watch pitch for the Yankees and win Cy Youngs. That's not the guy that I watch pitch in Houston either.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, I don't know, like year over year, the average is the same on the fastball. He hit 99 in this start. He was just massively effective because he plays the zone. He couldn't hit the zone. He missed no bats. Again, this could be the thing. Joe has kind of been out.
Maybe it's just a feel thing. Maybe he's working his way back and the feel's not there. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm not Grim Reapering yet. In fact, I'm actually on your side today, which, we had a very funny tweet. Someone saying that I love the show, but I'm not listening today because Joe is going to go on here talking about Gerrit Cole, and I'm not taking victory laps. I'm where Welsh is. If you believe in Gerrit Cole, this is the time to buy. Mark Vientos, by the way, let's talk about the other side of this. Grimacing 2 home runs there for him off Gerrit Cole. Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers had a pretty good night, 2 for 4 with a homer for him. Freddie Freeman also 1 for 4 with a homer, but Bobby Miller in that same game gave up 3 runs in 2 innings, 38 pitches in the first inning, 60 altogether before he got pulled. Welsh, it's God forbid something happens to Cole and then Luis Heel turns into a pumpkin here. This is a very interesting start tonight. Yankee fans right now are not in a good mood. They had that Heel blow up. They had Cole against the Mets, which is the worst thing if you're a Yankee fan. You hate it. And then what do you have next is Luis Heel. And if he looks human again, now it's like an arms race where the Yankees and the Dodgers, the 2 juggernaut teams of the first 3 months of the season, all of a sudden are hitting that market really hard for arms.
Yeah, I agree. On the Bobby Miller front, by the way, you want to talk about zone percentages. He did not have over 90% of his pitches failed to go over 36% in the zone or more. He never had a pitch that he threw 90% or more get the zone at a clip that was essentially more than 3 to 1. So 2/3 of the time it was a ball. It's ridiculous. His fastball, 36% zone rate, but his sinker, which he threw the most, only a 26% zone rate, and the slider at 10%. He has not looked right since that one game. It was like his second or third start of the year where he had like the destruction, the blow up. He struck out the side in the first inning. I'm forgetting what it was, but the second inning, he just got annihilated, gave up like 5 runs, 30 pitches or whatever the hell it was. And he just has not,
it was the second inning. Yeah, not the first.
Yeah, it just has not been right since then. And this mix again is kind of showing he's not throwing strikes. And that's the big key. But it's like, is that the be all end all for a guy like Bobby Miller? Because if you're going to look at his like overall stuff, velo stuff about on par, spin numbers, they still look good. He still had 26% whiff rate, still got some called strikes. It was a crappy 22% CSW percentage, but all of those things were just relative to him not throwing a ton of strikes. So if we can get back to that, the sinker should be throwing strike. By the way, a 26% sinker zone percentage is wildly insane. You throw that pitch because you want these guys to make crappy, bad contact, get ground balls and stuff like that. If you can fix that, I think we could get back to that Bobby Miller. But that's the question. Are we going to? And I don't know. I'm pessimistic about Bobby Miller right now, where I'm a little bit optimistic about Gerrit Cole.
All right, we shall see how it all shakes out. Gunnar Henderson got the Welsh a homer yesterday. Good for him. More Gunnar Henderson later in the show. Castillo, still not good. 4 runs, 5 hits, 5 and a third. I just hope he's not hiding some sort of injury. I hope this is some kind of mental or mechanical thing or whatever it is, because last couple starts have not been good. Interesting buy low window on Luis Castillo if you want to make your move. Bryce Harper, 2 for 4 with his 20th home run of the season. So we got a couple guys in the 20s now. And Tariq Skubal, 7K, 7 scoreless. So a good start against the Phillies for him. He had a little bit of fun. Carlos Rodriguez was optioned. And as Wonky Penguin pointed out earlier in the chat, Dallas Keuchel gets acquired by the Brewers. The Brewers are for some pitching. I mean, desperate. They lost Gasser. They lost Rodriguez now. They optioned him. So they need some help there. Only they had a pitcher like Corbin Burns. Yeah, whatever. Ben Rice, not in the lineup today. Yesterday, I should say, for the New York Yankees. That's interesting only because we're kind of monitoring the playing time a little bit. JD Davis got to start yesterday. Hessen Kierstad also was not in the lineup. Again, we bring up these players to play, and then they don't play so much, and it's a little frustrating.
They said on the Ben Rice stuff, they didn't want to call it. It's so funny. They didn't want to call it a platoon, but it's like a platoon. They're like, well, Ben Rice will probably play against some lefties, and we like some at-bats of his, but it's essentially going to be a version, and their platoon might just be like, guy one day, guy the other, guy 2 days, and the other guy 2 days. So they're going to have some version of it. JD Davis coming in does hurt Ben Rice, but this is also why, like, I wasn't very redraft pro Ben Rice. So chalk that up for me not touting a prospect in redraft.
Yeah. Well, look, Ben Rice had a good minor league.
I warned you.
Season. I warned you. Hey, man, I did warn you, and it is going to be July 1st, and Gerrit Cole so far has not given you anything to your fantasy team, right or wrong.
Well, no, first start, I thought it was like doable.
Fine. Is that what you want to take out? The second one was so bad, I think it undid anything from the
Yeah, maybe. So we're even. We're even right now. So
we're even. We're not even. It's 3 months with nothing. If we're back to 0, that's still 0, Welsh.
Well, yeah, got her. I mean, what can you do about the injury? Like, you could have
nothing. Well, you could not draft him.
That's major decision earlier on. What do you think that poll is, by the way? What people think is worse? I told you so, or I warned you?
I told you so. Definitely, I told you so.
73%. I told you so. I'm shocked. Yeah. I don't know. You saying I warned you, exponentially worse than I told you so.
I don't know why it is. You're a dad. You warn your children all day long. That's all you do. I'm warning everybody right now. We've got an amazing giveaway. Mike Mayer finally did something right. So if you listen to because he got this jersey for us to give away. If you listen to the show on the audio side, this is your opportunity. Drop a 5-star audio review again, wherever you get your podcasts here. If you're listening to the MLB show here, if you're listening to Leading Off every day, you listen to the cycle, Cleaning Up, which by the way, today after the show, last one of the season so far. This is going to be yours. An Orlando Cabrera.
Wow.
Look at this. An Orlando Cabrera jersey. It's unbelievable. Go to fantasypros.com/MLB review. That's where you get a chance. So again, this is the website. You could go click right on it. fantasypros.com/MLB review. Give us a 5-star review of the podcast. Talk about how much you love the antics of Welsh. You could say, I warned you against Joey P. Whatever it is, 5 stars, positivity. The power of positivity might give you one of the coolest giveaway jerseys we're going to do. Orlando Cabrera, old school Montreal Expo jersey.
People in the chat can see it. It looks amazing. And I was going to say,
it's amazing.
It does look amazing. I was going to say, that is tough for our guys that, have been in here for a long time. And, I want them to have an opportunity, but I will bet you so many of them have not reviewed us and done the reviews. So fantasypros.com/MLB review. Everybody,
here we go.
Get in and do it. Do it today.
Before we get to the waiver wire, let's address this thing here. Cards in the Attic, who I've never heard here in the chat before. Welcome to the chat. We appreciate you. How can player give you anything when he has been hurt? Probably one of the dumbest questions I've heard. LOL.
It sounded like you were about to. He was about to be Borat. How can player give you anything
when he has been hurt?
La la la.
Here's the point. The point I'm making is if you're spending a second, third, fourth round pick on a player that was dealing with an elbow injury of massive implications, you are hurting your team because you passed out on somebody else. You passed over another player that could have helped your team, and you've gotten nothing in 3 months from that player. Now you might get 3 great months I don't know if that's enough to justify some of the ADP because he was still a top 100 player, was he?
But it is
Last time I
a
checked?
small it is a small period of time where that was going on. It was like the February-ish range, and then that did adjust. Like
It adjusted at the very, very end.
It
Let's
was-
be honest.
yeah,
It was the
but
very
also
end.
like the one, I mean, I'm not going to defend people being,
And it wasn't a question, it was a statement. And your punctuation and grammar leave a lot to be desired. Not to mention, all caps is on, pal. People talk in all caps.
Yeah,
are
I won't
desperate to be
defend
heard.
I won't defend negativity, but I said it as you kind
Here
of
we go.
did
I
it.
forgot my letter A. You're okay, Cards. I'm just
But
messing with you.
again, like I said, not going to defend or definitely promote negativity for here. But as you were saying it, I was going like, hey, listen, what can people do? Like, I don't think you can fully sit on here and make the case like, oh man, he just hasn't produced. It's like, well, yeah, because he's hurt. So yes, I get your point, the second, fourth round. But if you're here today, I don't think there's any justification to talk about the time that you've lost if you're here today. That time was right after you drafted him, or a month ago, or 2 weeks ago when you were doing that. Like it's irrelevant to me now because it's like, all right, we're starting over day one. We're fresh. He's here. Whatever you lost, you lost. You needed to make that from a while back.
I learned from Scott Bogman. Stop drafting players who are hurt before the season starts. Yeah. This was a great conversation about 5 years ago I had with him. We were talking about stuff. He's like, what are you doing? Like, fantasy sports is hard enough. Stop drafting these guys that are already hurt.
I yell at Bogman.
Such a massive discount all the time where you just, it's nothing but upside. And that's just rarely the case nowadays. It's just
and I yell at Bogman all the time. I'm like, will you stop having the same take on injuries? And he's always right. And it's just, it's ridiculous.
I hate it, but he's here and he's in the chat and he's always right. Yeah. PMB has a question. Luis Heel for Yelich. Is that a good trade? That's an interesting one.
I hate
I want to say no. I still would roll the dice with Heel, but it's not awful. That's how I look at that one.
No, I think that's like the general space of it.
Yelich isn't a slam dunk. I think that's my problem. It's like Yelich is another back one swing from a back injury guy waiting to happen too.
Yeah, he's got injuries. And
I'll replace it. Brian Reynolds or Luis Heel.
Oh, Brian, I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat with Brian Reynolds. I am more worried than I was about the Heel situation because of the things that have come out, but I still hold, today's going to be a big one, to this idea that the Yankees are going to be smart and they're going to play this like the Cole Reagans. They might play this like Crochet, that you're not going to just throw Luis Heel into some offset situation, that they're going to manage him so he can continue to start. Now, those starts may be a little bit less helpful, no more 2 starts. Maybe there's a skip here or there, and that's not great. But I don't think he goes by the wayside, except if he goes and gets blown up again today and maybe one more, then this team really might be like, yeah, we're going to have to move him into another situation because this is all falling apart. So if you are worried, and rightfully so, you have some justification to be worried. Yeah, I think getting a guy like a Yelich is fine. Getting a guy like Brian Reynolds would be phenomenal. Those would be great. But I still hold that even Luis Heel in this like 6-man, blah, 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 can still be a top 30 pitcher. But, you know, I'm talking one side, and God knows what the results are today are going to tell the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I'm going to go back to Cards because Cards seems like a good egg here. And Cards is, you know, we're just having fun on the show. I'm going blind from cancer, but that's another story. I have trouble reading the messages sometimes, hence, I guess, the all caps. But you're reading your own messages. Cards, I hope you're feeling okay. I can't believe you're choosing to spend your time with us. If this show brings you joy and yelling at me brings you joy right now, I'm all for it. Go for it, buddy. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope your Cardinals, I assume you're a Cardinals fan. That's Cards in the Attic. Maybe not. I don't know. You're a baseball person. I hope your Cardinals bring you some joy this year too. So there you go. See, look, it has a feel-good ending at the end of the day, right? Feel-good ending.
Joe warned you, though. Just Joe warned
you. I warned you. All right, let's get to some more baseball here, and it's waiver wire time, boys and girls. So let's get after it because it's time for Week 14 on the wire, and I've got some players that I want to add. I've got 2 Twinkies, several pitchers, but not the kind of Twinkies with the cream filling, which are you a Twinkie guy? I'm a Hostess cupcake guy with the squiggle lines. That's always been my go-to.
Definitely look like a Twinkie guy, but no, definitely
you
not.
You just look like a Twinkie. Right?
Yeah. No,
you look like that Twinkie cowboy. You know, the cowboy and the Twinkies. You know, you could. It's a good costume for you. You could pull that.
Oh, where we get the facial hair back and cover up some of the double chin. Hey, their partner got the hair. Maybe. Yeah. No, I'm more of a Hostess cupcake guy. You know what are underrated? Blow all your minds. Zingers. zingers.
The
No,
zinger.
snowballs are trash with the coconut on it. Now, I'm not an anti-coconut guy.
Remember
but
those fruit pies? Well, you know, you're a little younger than me. The
No, I
fruit
remember the
pies
fruit
from the
pies.
80s
Oh,
with
yeah.
like the nuclear fruit inside of them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The what is it? Nuclear. I always say that wrong.
like,
the green
you do
sludge
always
that would
say
come out for the
you're a
after.
nuclear guy.
I know it's a very Palin
There
thing.
should be
I
a
say.
waiver wire segment in here. Let's do the waiver wire, and then we'll
Maybe.
talk more about the
Zingers,
weird
though. Zingers.
nuclear fillings of the fruit pies. Spencer Turnbull, he's the filling you need. See that transition in your fantasy rotation as a starter this year in 6 starts, a 1.67 ERA. As a reliever, 4.26. Not as good, but Taiwan Walker goes to the IL, which means Spencer Turnbull is back, and he's available in 55% of leagues. He's just 31 years old. Welsh, this was a guy that we talked about, I want to say like week 2. I think he was on my waiver wire video, somewhere around there. And eventually he did get bounced, as we thought he might. But you know what? He's going to get another opportunity. Walker hasn't been good. It would not shock me if Spencer Turnbull, if he pitched well, might stick in that rotation. Do you think that's a hot take, or do you think Spencer Turnbull is just a patchwork guy for a couple starts here?
No, I don't think it's like, I don't think that's crazy at all. Like, he was there. Like, they might have to, go through and adjust this rotation, and they might need him. Today is going to be a big sign. The Tigers, middling team, they've got some decent offensive weapons. If he can go out there, I'm betting on them today, as we're going to talk about it. And if he can have a good start, this could be a nice little run here. Great streaming option. At this point, really great streamer right now, and that's what waivers can be all about.
All right, next one here. Again, it's a stash available in 80% of leagues. Brooks Lee, shortstop from the Minnesota Twins organization. He's in 346 with 4 homers and an OPS over 1,000 in 12 games for St. Paul so far. It's been unbelievable. Now, the problem is where does he come up and play, Welsh? That seems to be the tricky part. He did get a start at second base, so there's opportunity here. Edward Julian did not perform. Lee could be a guy that if he hits for another couple weeks, maybe we see him after the All-Star break, but I want to add him now before that. I want to be ahead of the curve there. Your thoughts on Brooks Lee? You're the prospect guy. I know maybe it's not the clearest path, but I want to be ahead, and I want to get this guy on the cheap right now instead of blowing all that fab when he gets the call-up. And I know the rookies haven't been great since the call-ups, but this is one of 2 Twins on my list this week.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a prospecting with the Welsh segment here. I would have probably put him on there because I'm in lockstep with you. There was legit conversation around Brooks Lee in early spring training. And then we ended up finding out that he suffered, forgetting what it was, but he suffered some injury in spring training that then held him out for like the first month of minor league. So all of that moved away. But this guy, this is a major league ready pro bat. There's not a lot of stolen base in the profile, but he fits that mold. Lower strikeouts than what Edward Julian had. This like really great ability to get on base, but I've said it a gajillion times. He would drive to 2 strikes. He'd be super passive until 2 strikes and then get aggressive. And
his approach at the big league level was poor. I'm sorry. It was not the same approach I saw him take in spring training 2 years ago. It was not the same approach I saw him in minor league at bats. He tried for too much power. That's why I think.
Well, I always saw that one, and he just never fixed it. And it's like you want to see maturation from these guys, and he kind of kept that. Brooks Lee, though, there's big power. The profile definitely could end up being at second base. I think that makes the most sense because Royce and Correa have that left side of the infield taken. I wouldn't be surprised if even they tried a little first base as they've been readjusting. But I agree with you here. Would have done it on tomorrow's show. Brooks Lee is a guy to start the preemptive ad, because that's going to be a huge benefit to that offense. And he has been cooking.
Yeah, he certainly has. Another Minnesota Twins been cooking, David Festa. Now, this is a guy that Welsh has talked about a lot. And now I'm ready. My body's ready. I want to add him to my fantasy rosters. He is available in 90% of leagues. I picked him and Lee up last week, by the way, in anticipation because Paddock had been so bad. I didn't know Paddock was going to go to the IL. He did go to the IL. He's got a 3.82 ERA, 91 strikeouts, just 10 walks and 63
innings. Did they make a move for Paddock yet? Did they make the adjusted move in the rotation?
Officially, but when we started the show, I haven't checked anything in the last hour or so before the show. I was doing some other things.
What they would usually do in this type of situation would be bring up a relief pitcher for 3 or 4 days, and then you would line up. I got to be honest with you. I didn't do this before. Probably would have done this for tomorrow. I need to probably see where David Festa lines up, because one of 2 things. Simeon Woods Richardson is going today. And I've said for a while, David Festa, before Paddock got hurt, I I thought he was tied to Simeon Woods-Richardson, because if Richardson starts to struggle again and they take him out,
here we go.
Festa's a
1
guy
hour
that can
ago,
take it.
Star Tribune is saying, again, just about an hour ago before we started the show, Thursday. It looks like Thursday he's going to get that.
Oh, Festa. They're saying Festa's.
Festa
Yeah, that, it makes 100% sense. That's what I was going to say.
And no
Either
matter
tied
how
to
he
him or take
performs,
that spot.
I'm okay. Like, I want to add him right now anyway. And if he performs poorly, give me some strikeouts and let's give the guy a break.
He's actually going to be here in Arizona. I should go.
Oh my God. What are you doing? Why are you even here right now? Start being outside. One more name too. Aroldis Chapman, 30% rostered right now. Bednar dealing with some side issues. We've seen what happens sometimes when that happens. So if you're looking for saves in deeper leagues, maybe Chapman could be that guy. So those are the names this week. Again, Festa, Brooks Lee, Aroldis Chapman, and Spencer Turnbull. Those are guys that I'm looking at in the waiver wire for week 14, and you should be too. Welsh, let's continue on here with the 3 up and 3 down. Jurickson Profar, grand slam yesterday. Hunter Brown, 2 hits, 6 innings, but 7 strikeouts. He couldn't get one more strikeout for me, so that was the one bet that I lost yesterday, but still, it's okay. It's okay. Seth Lugo, 6 scoreless innings for him, 8 strikeouts. He's been terrific. Boy, talk about a guy who went from the month of April not striking anybody out to striking out a ton of guys. Pete Crow Armstrong struck out all 3 times. Speaking of strikeouts, I don't think this guy's ever going to be a thing, Walsh. I just don't see it. I think he's got a fun name. He's a fun personality. He plays with his hair on fire. What was the name of the guy? Oh, God. I'm trying to remember his name. He played with the Yankees for a little while, but
Gerrit
I don't
Cole.
think that. No. No, he was a big prospect guy. He had red hair. Oh, God. I can't remember his name. Power hitting guy.
What year? Is this going to be 1974?
No, it was from a couple years ago. Stop being a jerk. No, I can't remember who drafted him, but he ended up with the Yankees, and he had a little short run, and people really liked him. He hit for a ton of power, but like he had light tower power, but never made any contact. And he had red hair. He's like that guy. Some guys are just like fun, but they're never going to be a thing. I can't remember. If you can remember in the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
Who was there? Anything else?
Frazier or something? Was it a Frazier? Is that his last name? I don't know.
Oh, Clint Frazier.
Clint Frazier.
Oh,
yes,
Clint Frazier. Yeah. He was drafted by the Cubs, I think it was, or maybe he was with the Cubs. Yeah, Clint Frazier I loved him. He's a funny dude too.
No, that's what I mean. Like Pete Crow Armstrong, engaging, great defensive player. Some guys are just like fun, but just aren't going to be major league players. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, Pete Crow is a plus defensive player. I always did a really high defense. I was defensive of his like contact skills. What are you doing?
I breathe. That took a lot out of me. That whole
thing. Okay. You're scaring me here. I thought you're gonna have to call a doctor. Yeah, but I always defended that he was going to be able to hit for contact. Did not happen. Is not going to happen. He's the Geraldo Perdomo of the outfield. So
Joe Ryan gave up 4 runs in 6 innings, and Hunter Green gave up 6 runs and 7 hits
and puked. Did you see him throw up on the mound? Did you see that? It's the like, dude. We really actually should have.
I'm glad you jumped that.
I'm so sorry. I should have put this on the sheet. He's up against Brian Reynolds. He throws a pitch and then projectile vomits on the mound, and the look on Brian Reynolds' face is like, oh my God. And all I could think back was like 4 years ago when the world was crazy and there were no one in the stands. Like they had to carted him out and get him the hell out of here. This dude just vomit. And you know what I kept thinking? This is the only thing I could think of. The pitcher, I think it was Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller had to come back to that mound, and all the grounds crew was all they were doing was just putting dirt on the puke, and there's just Hunter Brown vomit that was hanging everywhere.
This is the low point. This is the low point of the show's history.
He just threw up everywhere on the mound. Blah!
All right. One other thing too, Welsh. I'm going to give you a chance here to jump ship on your Gerrit Cole take, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Carlos, our good friend Carlos, Joey P going to regret that bad GC.
He doesn't defend me. No, that doesn't work. Carlos
30 points next game. Just wait. So the last time this guy took a stand against one of us, we remember what happened, don't we? I think we were pretty sure this is the Brandon Fott. He got Roadhouse. That's what happened. So now that Carlos is all in, you want to come with me? Last chance.
No. It makes me a little bit nervous, but Carlos is a very specific Welsh troll. Like he only comes. He's already done it today. He's like, wasn't going to talk about
There you
Frank
go. I
Rooker.
ruined Cole. It's my fault, everybody. I ruined
No,
it.
I
It
think
wasn't
this is
the
great.
elbow injury. It's
We
me.
should have sides, like the people that defend. Someone in there thought like, "Ooh, Welsh is salty because he drafted Gerrit Cole." I have Gerrit Cole in one league and it was a keeper league. I'm not salty about it, but I'm just telling you how that is. We can have sides. So when Gerrit Cole's awesome, people can come to me, and when Gerrit Cole's bad, they don't show up to the show because they don't want to deal with you.
I am. See, that's what you say, but I think, just saying, the day that, if it should happen, and I don't wish it to happen,
The day the
if
world
Cole
cried.
has the elbow issue or whatever it is, he comes
Oh,
out of a game, I think it'll be our highest rated show of that month. I think
course
people were gonna, yeah,
because
it's gonna-
you're gonna come on in a black cloak and you're gonna have the
it's gonna
sickle
be
or
like House
whatever
of
it
the
is.
Dragon in here. That's what
100%. You're gonna tear this down.
there
And
you go, Bogman for the win. Which is worse? I warned you, or I'll let you out of this.
oh man, it keeps getting. I'm telling you, maybe it's just because it comes from out of you, Joe. It keeps getting worse. It just
That's
keeps
fine.
getting worse.
It's fine. All right, injuries a ton, some good, some bad. Bo Bichette, 10-day IL, coming off of it, activated. That's good. Nick Lodolo, just when it was all going well, he's got a blister. So luckily, this is not like a huge deal. The blister, couple weeks, hopefully, will be okay. Red's situation here. Carlos Encarnacion Strand underwent that surgery, so he is done that hand surgery.
Nice.
Josiah Gray, by the way, working his way back. Another good rehab start for him. I'd be adding Gray. Would you be?
I'm interested in Gray. The
I'm interested.
Nationals are playing a whole lot better. I would love some more
Competitive.
offensive support. Yeah, he can get some strikeouts. I think he's like right at streamable, though. I don't think he's a pick up and hold type of guy, but I think he's in the stream range. And if he rattles off a couple, then great.
Yeah. Also, Kyle Tucker progressed to taking swings. Lars Nootbaar also taking on the field batting practice. Jackson Holiday was reinstated from the 7-day IL. He had missed 10 games with an inflammation in his elbow, so hopefully he's okay. Zach Gallen with the hamstring through a bullpen, but he's been out a long time, it feels like.
He's coming Saturday.
Verlander-
Back Saturday. Zach Gallen Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're going to be at the game a lot this week. Justin Verlander, slower progress than anticipated with that neck issue. Gavin Williams makes another rehab start today. Josh Young, this is a setback here for the Rangers guy here. 26-year-old third baseman, the tendon inflammation in his right wrist. Looks like he's going back for further testing. So this is no bueno. So bad news for those people waiting for Josh Young. Brian Wu goes to the IL with the hamstring. We said that was going to happen yesterday. And Kodai Senga is aiming to kick off a minor league rehab assignment next week. Kodai Senga.
Yeah, I got it. By the way, speaking of game, we're doing a little Fantasy Pros meetup. Unfortunately, I'll be the only on-air person there, but gonna go see the Braves in a couple weeks out here in Arizona with some Fantasy Pros people. Very excited.
Oh, I'm jealous. I don't get to go anywhere.
Our art director gonna be there. Maybe one of our producers as well. So we can have a meetup.
Well, then look at all of this. All the cool kids hanging out with me. I guess I'll just have to stay at home with my Betting Pros app and start logging my best bets
of the day
with Joey P and the Welsh. Make sure you place your bets at bet365. Bet $5, get 150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code leading off. What are you waiting for? Use the code bet365. Do it now. You have to be 18 or over in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800 bets off in Iowa. Terms and conditions apply. Welsh, I'm hyper focused today. Everything's in Baltimore. Everything is there. All the stuff is in Baltimore. Everything revolving around the Baltimore Orioles today. Baltimore on the run line, -1.5 at +110 against the Cleveland Guardians and Cookie Carrasco. Grayson Rodriguez on the mound. I think we can go ahead and get a nice W here for the Baltimore Orioles, which, by the way, have covered more run lines than any other team this year. Fun fact for the Baltimore Orioles. When they win big. Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 total bases, -118, and Gunnar Henderson over 0.5 RBI, +135. What? Gunnar Henderson, all the Baltimore Orioles. That's where I'm going today for my best bets of the day. Welsh, where are you going?
I like that. I'm having a betty day, so I will tell you the Betting Pros app is a place to be if you care. I mean, it might be a really bad day tomorrow, or it could be amazing, and I'll be super happy. You can check it out, bettingpros.com/Welsh to see what else. But the bets that made this show: Reynaldo Lopez, strikeouts, 5.5 over. It is just a constant where Lopez, though we're getting to the 5.5, it had always been sitting at 4.5. He's rattled off 6+ over his last couple starts. I like the matchup. Cardinals strikeout rate has been more than average. So Reynaldo Lopez, 5.5 over, -110, one of the better numbers this week. So I'm taking that one. Yankees, full game money line. Luis Gil. I am backing Luis Gil full on here. We're going to have a bounce back. They're not going to, roll over on their bellies and get pet by the Mets. And, oh, it's a good boy, Mets. It's a good other New York team. No, the Yankees are going to come out swinging against Minaya. Luis Gil is going to rock. And I'm going to take the full game money line Yankees, -125. Then I'm playing a first 5 money line parlay. Phillies, which is going to be happening here soon, first 5, and the Texas Rangers with Nate Eovaldi, first 5. Both of those are the first 5 money lines. That gets to +160. If you miss out, there's some other decent options out there. You might be able to jump on maybe the Kansas City Royals if you want to do that if you miss Philly. But those are my my bets for the show. And then on the app, you can check out all the others.
There you have it, everybody. Those are Wednesday's best bets of the day. Download the Betting Pros app. Start betting smarter, not harder. All right, Welsh, it's time to look at the big board, and you got a home run, but you're not quite on the board yet, my friend. And I don't see Wonky on there anymore either, so I don't know what happened there. But I'm still alive at 21, but I am, again, it's a cliffhanger, Welsh. Go to fantasypros.com/chat to join the home run contest and to join us for the last cleaning up of the season where you can talk to us live. So this is your last chance. If you want to talk to us, you come to Discord today, fantasypros.com/cleaning up. That's how you get directly to it. Welsh, obviously I'm all in on Gunnar Henderson today. So Gunnar Henderson is my home run call today.
Back-to-back days.
I'm going to piggyback. I'm going back-to-back with Gunnar. Where are you going today?
I am going to go with Marcus Semien. I am going to attack Dallas Keuchel. He is not a good pitcher. And I'm going to go with Marcus Semien on that front. I will tell you, I'm not going to do it because it's happening soon, but I did want Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm was sitting in my brain. So that's something I can cry about later, as everyone will remind me when Alec Bohm hits a homer and Marcus Semien goes 0 for 4. That's my home run. Hoping to get on. I think I'm at 15. I'm 5 away from the stupid board. So Joe leaving has a commanding lead over Welsh making the home run board so far this year. Joe, your clock is about a month.
I want you to be on the board the day that I'm not here to see it. That's what I want.
We got the schedule official too, and it's a little over a month. You guys are gonna be sad.
But we're also giving some other folks a chance here to work a little bit. Some of the folks that you know and you love in the fantasy baseball community, they're going to be here with you. So we're going to keep having fun here, and I greatly appreciate all the peanuts and cracker jacks. So we have fun here. It's okay to talk about baseball, to be serious sometimes about baseball, and to not be serious sometimes. It's okay.
It's okay to
entertain. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. But remember, if you like it, and if you're listening to the show still, I know you do, go drop your reviews, fantasypros.com/MLB review, and you're going to be entered to win this amazing throwback Orlando Cabrera Expos jersey. Mm-hmm. I am jealous of whoever gets that jersey.
You should do a review.
So good.
Maybe you can
I can't win the jersey. I'm not allowed.
Well, I want everybody to come out right now. Come over to fantasypros.com/cleaning up for the last show and come and talk to us for the last on the Discord show.
We get lonely. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.